Welcome to Women Empower Active, an initiative started by UR Sportswear to empower women to find their own active adventure. I'm your host, Jacalyn Gross. Today, we're going to have more of an introspective episode. I recently had a health scare, and I'm going to talk about what happened, how it impacted me, how it impacted my goals, and kind of moving forward. If you are going through something similar, please send me a message. I would love to connect about this. Obviously, something that I'm going through currently and will be going through for a while. So please share. I'd love to talk. Let me preface this with I'm not a doctor or a health professional. I'm just telling you the story that I'm telling myself as what happened. And in some ways, we still don't totally know what happened. So, anyways, this is my truth to myself. I was in Hawaii for like 4 days, and I was with people who had caught a virus. And so it was the kind of virus that was like a GI virus. On July 2nd, I started getting sick. I started throwing up a bunch. I was really sick for 2 days. And then I started feeling a little better. And then on July 5th, or July 4th, I felt like some sort of pressure relief. And then on July 5th, I felt amazing. And I actually went like snorkeling. And then on July 6th, I felt terrible. 7th, terrible. 8th, terrible. And we were flying home on the 9th. On the 8th, we went to this nature preserve and we went on a hike. And I just wanted to go because it's our last day here. And I couldn't walk for like a half mile. Like I couldn't make it. I had to sit down on a bench and wait for people to come back. And I was like, wow, I'm feeling really weak. And then the next day we went to the airport and I'm pushing my luggage to the airport. And I'm like, I can't do this. I had to give it to my partner. And I had a carry-on and I was like, I can't carry this. And I had to give it to my partner too. So he had to carry both of all of that stuff through the airport. And then I could barely walk through the airport. And so I finally get to the, gate and I just sit there and wait. And again, the airplane, and it was just like a rough flight. Like I'm taking Tylenol, trying to push back the pain so I'm not in so much pain, kind of slouching, sitting. And then the next day I go to work for a day, and that evening I'm like, I need to go to the doctor. So I just get on ZocDoc because I was like, well, how am I going to find a doctor's appointment this last minute? I get on ZocDoc, book appointment. Not sponsored by ZocDoc. That doctor could not help me. It was just a general doctor and was like, if you're not feeling better in 3 days, you should go to the ER. And I was like, I need to go to the ER tonight. And I'm so glad that I did because I ended up being admitted and then in the hospital for 6 days. I had potentially a ruptured appendix. I had like CT scans. They couldn't see my appendix. They think my appendix burst, ruptured. They're not sure. They don't know for sure if that's even it. I have a surgeon, a general medicine doctor, and an infectious disease doctor trying to figure out what actually happened. So it was a very serious experience. I have abscences in my lower and upper intestine, and I had to put drains in and all of that to say it was a very serious situation. I still have drains in, actually, and probably by the time this airs, I will have them removed. Fingers crossed. But yeah, they've been extremely restrictive as far as my movement goes. Like I can't walk very long before they start rubbing. I can't eat very much because, it will feel uncomfortable, hard to sleep with them in. You have to sleep on your back. And I'm not a back sleeper. It's not comfortable. In hindsight, it makes sense that I was needing to go to the ER, but I didn't feel like I was that sick. And so I had gotten better that one day. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just like recovering from that GI virus and it's going to like take longer. But everybody else who had gotten that virus was already better. It was just me who was still sick. And I think like part of this is like, I'm an endurance athlete. I thought that I could just endure it and uh, take Tylenol and eventually it would go back to normal because I've never been like so sick that I can't like just get better. Like I've never been in that situation where I had to be admitted to a hospital. So I just thought I'll get better. And that was not the case. And also, like, ignoring your body's pain is not necessarily a good thing. In this case, I felt like I should have listened to my body. I should have realized that everyone else is getting better. I'm not getting better. I need to go to the hospital. But I just endured. Like I got into that point where I'm just like, I'm just going to endure this and get through it. And I didn't. I didn't on my own, you know, and I'm realizing even still now that like that was really stupid, that I could have died because I just was trying to just wait it out, you know. My brain was just like, okay, you're gonna get better. Just keep taking Tylenol, use a heating pad, you'll feel better. And that just wasn't the case. All of this to say, like I've never had this experience where I've had to shift my expectations like this. I could barely walk, I could barely move. I didn't, you know, I can't shower, but I couldn't shower by myself. I literally had to push myself up. Like I couldn't do a crunch up because my abdomen was so inflamed. Like it was just like really intense pain. And I had been in pain for like days and days and days and days. So it was just really overwhelming. So I had to cancel my race that I was going to race in September, which was a big bummer. And I was really disappointed because I had something else happen where the previous race I had to cancel because, and this never happens, I never have to cancel races, but the course changed for that other race and ended up being on pavement. So I had to cancel that race. And then this race, I had to cancel because obviously I'm not going to be able to train for a 50K in September. And so dealing with that disappointment was really hard and frustrating, particularly because I had set these goals for myself and it just like did not pan out this year. And this is the first year that I was like, I'm going to plan my races. I'm going to like schedule them way in advance so I know what I'm training for way in advance. And it legitimately just did not happen. Didn't race the other race, didn't race this one. Um, yeah, so that's a really big bummer for me. And I was kind of going on a really good clip with with 50Ks, and I was hoping to kind of push this last one. And you know what? I'm just gonna have to like let that go for a while, redefine goals for myself. Still frustrated about that. Kind of looking into next year and trying to get excited for like what I'll be able to do and what I'll be able to push myself in. Like I know I'm gonna get there again. It's just like when am I gonna be able to run? Like I don't even know. So just like that gray area of like not totally understanding like when training will happen and how training is going to look. You know, like I'm going to have to walk before I can run, like quite literally. And then pushing out the goals that I had for myself, like, okay, you know, maybe this is not going to happen this year, you know, and mostly I'm okay with that. I did have some like rough time where I was like, oh, this is really going to suck. And I was pretty upset about canceling, but I feel a little bit better now. Just because I'm feeling better and not feeling so much pain. So that's a huge thing. Like basically I have to meet myself where I am and like start from there. So I honestly don't know what that looks like. I don't know how I'm gonna start training. I got lectured from my sister who is a doctor about how I have to do everything I can to get better. And like I'm definitely going to do that, and that trumps like any other goals that I have. Like number one goal is to get better, but just I'm just like in that gray area of like not knowing what to do and like how to train. And I know that's like not a number one priority, but I'm also having like these insecurities where like I know I'm gonna get out of shape. I have like body dysmorphia, so like I'm gonna be gaining weight and like not gonna be able to like really push myself hard. And how am I going to deal with that? And you know, I probably won't race for a while. And again, these things are like all little, and I know like I'm hearing myself say them and I'm like, okay, this is really silly, but I also am truly having these feelings. I just know it's coming. Like I know that is going to happen, and dealing with that dread and like still wanting to say like my body is valuable. I am valuable even if I'm out of shape. Like it doesn't change the fact that my body basically saved my life because it put the infection in the spot it's supposed to be. And I'm so lucky, I'm so lucky that it happened that way because it could have not. Just working through all those emotions, and the disappointment, and, give my body the grace that it requires. So I'm just kind of like working through all of that, where I feel like a little bit trapped in my body right now, just because like I'm not able to do all the things. I know that this is like not the biggest health issue ever, but like if you're going through something similar, like I am sure you could understand that it changes everything. I don't know what there is next, figuring out what I can and can't do. That's not going to hurt myself ultimately. There's also like a 30% chance that this could happen again. So I need to get some surgery in a few months that would help prevent that from happening again. And it's not going to be a big surgery or anything, but I'm still going to be like, I can't be like fully training. And yeah, so just like giving my body grace and saying it's okay to be the way that it is and accepting myself for who I am is difficult. I'm also still dealing with my own issues that I'm working through. And I want to feel normal and better and strong. And I have this like perception of myself that's strong, but then I'm going to be like, I can't move this table right now. Like, I can't really do this other thing. Like, it's just really limiting. And that feels very disorienting, and wanting to just get out and move and do things. But also knowing that I have to be careful and I have to like restrict things. I can't just like go full force and do anything at this point. I still have to take it easy. And just like balancing those two feelings out and trying to deal with that is tough. To end this, like my words of empowerment for other women going through this, it was like something the nurse said to me when I was like in the hospital and feeling like absolute garbage and like not being able to crunch up or sit up, was just like, use what you have. And so I thought about that the whole time. Like, okay, I can't do a crunch up, but I can use my arms and push myself up. I can use my legs and lift myself up. So like, just like thinking about the things like that, like, okay, use what you have, use the muscles you have, but like maybe use the tools you have as well. That really like sat with me the entire time I was in the hospital. And now even being out of the hospital, I feel the same way. It's like, okay, I'm going to use what I have and get through this. Yeah. So if this is happening to you or has resonated at all, please reach out. I would love to hear your story, and like if you went through something similar, like how you're doing now, how you dealt with it, and like how you got through it. That would be hugely helpful for me. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women Empower Active. You can follow me personally. That's at Jacalyn Gross, JACALYN GROSS. You can follow You Are Sportswear. That's letter U, the letter R, Sportswear on all social platforms. You can check out any of our products at youaresportswear.com. If you are listening to this and want to watch the video version, you can go to You Are Sportswear's YouTube channel and subscribe. Both the audio and video version of this podcast was produced by Jeremy Canaria and edited by me. Thank you so much for listening, and please reach out with any questions, comments, or if you are going through a similar situation, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening.